So Mudassa had been dealing with intermittent but quite severe lower back pain, and at the same time there was already a known problem sort of in the left hip here. He had arthritis, and there was also a concern that one leg may be effectively longer than the other, which this proved. As you can see, one leg is significantly longer than the other one, and it caused the pelvis to tilt. Now, so day to day, there was not just this about the pain in one spot. It started to sort of affect the whole body and how it was coping overall. Before the EOS scan, the painful areas had already been identified. The left hip arthritis was known, and there was already significant suspicition that the left leg difference was part of the picture as well. So the early assessments were useful, and it sort of picked up genuine issues, but was still not clear was how all these findings were actually working together, and how much they were actually affecting the way the load was traveling through his tilted pelvis, spine, and the rest of the body. Once his EOS scan was reviewed, it revealed a much wider mechanical problem. What became clear that this was not just simply an arthritic hip on its own. There was hip degeneration, there was pelvic imbalance, there was a leg length discrepancy, so one leg longer than the other, and that changed how force was being sort of passed through the body, and that mattered because it meant that his hip problem needed to be understood in the context of his whole alignment and not just the isolated joint issue. Now that became sort of significantly and especially more important when surgery was being planned. Now the focus was no longer on just replacing the hip. The team could now sort of plan the operation with better whole body information, including adjusting the hip replacement to account for the leg length difference. So the result would be more balanced. Now after surgery, as you can see, he had another scan, a follow-up EOS scan, sort of helped confirm that it showed that although a significant pelvic tilt did remain, and the pelvis was still slightly tilted, his upper body was now well balanced, and also his alignment from side to side had normalized as well, both from the sideways perspective and from the front. He was much more well balanced, and it showed through the normalization of his pain. So the value of the scan here was not that it simply found the painful hip. That was already known. It showed that what was actually driving the wider problem, and it helped surgical because it was his problem was left for far too long, and therefore he needed surgery. It sort of helped the surgical planning team become more precise and gave a clearer picture, and so a more balanced direction for his care.